Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you some filling, delicious, easy lunch recipes to get you through your busy day. Actually not some lunches, this is actually a whole week, Monday through Friday, of easy vegan lunch ideas that you can make really quickly, because I do think that lunch is kind of the forgotten meal. It comes at a very inconvenient time of the day, so it's the kind of thing where you just make the same lunch all the time if you're anything like me, or you kind of snack your way through lunch, which also is very much me. So hopefully this video will put an end to all of that and give you lots of good ideas to get you excited about lunchtime again. I teamed up with Thrive Market to show you some of my favorite snacks, vegan snacks that you can go ahead and pair with these lunches to make them more filling or have later on in the day as a treat. So I really hope this video gives you lots of good ideas. I'm going to be showing you those snacks towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and give this video a thumbs up if you like these kinds of videos, because that really helps the algorithm, really helps get more eyes on my channel, and I would be so appreciative. So please take a second, hit that thumbs up button, and let's get started with the first lunch of the week. First up, we've got a fun twist on a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. This is going to be a BLTA, and it was inspired by those wraps that you might have seen on TikTok and Instagram. This method is super popular right now, so I had to try it. You basically cut a slit into a large tortilla, and then in each quadrant you're going to add your toppings. So I did some spinach, some avocado, and a little bit of bell pepper. I love tomato in my sandwiches and wraps, but tomatoes are really pale and barely even red this time of year, so I opted for something fresher, a little bit more flavorful and crunchy, like this yellow bell pepper. Then I slathered on some garlic mayo, and I made this just by mixing together some vegan mayo, some very finely minced garlic, and then some salt and pepper. I actually left the salt out because the bacon is quite salty, but normally it would be salt and pepper. And if you don't want to do this, you can do a store-bought version, or you can sub a hummus, a store-bought hummus. Any flavor really works. Or you could do a almond sauce, like this bitchin sauce. So good, and there's so many different flavors. So you can really change up the flavors and the vibe just by what kind of spread you use. I just went ahead and I folded it over, folded it again, and then finally it turned into this little pocket that is really nice and secure. And what I like to do is basically just put it fold side down into a hot nonstick skillet. Putting it fold side down will ensure that it stays shut. And then if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, you can weigh it down so you get those nice grill marks. So I'm making a BLT version of this, but if you wanted to use a different kind of protein for your sandwich, you could do any kind of like vegan lunch meat. You could even do vegan chicken, like frozen vegan chicken that you crisp up a little bit. Smashed beans if you wanted to keep it really, really simple and quick. Or something I was thinking about doing, because I have a ton of frozen vegan meatballs, is I was thinking about doing like a meatball sub version of this. So maybe instead of the garlic mayo, doing a little bit of warmed up marinara sauce, adding some vegan cheese, keep the spinach, keep the onion, and then kind of mash down or slice the vegan meatballs. I think that would be really good. So that's the one I'm going to try later on in the week or maybe next week, but for right now it's all about the BLT. I love that combination of kind of creamy, crunchy, salty, savory. So good. And I always add avocado because BLTAs are way better than just BLTs in my opinion. Thumbs up if you agree. This toasts up really fast. You only need a couple of minutes on each side, and what you get is a delicious, warm and toasty, crispy on the outside, and super flavorful lunch wrap that is very, very satiating, very flavorful. And I personally like to make it even more filling by adding some veggies and crackers with hummus on the side. I had this with a really cold iced tea in a tumbler with a straw, and I really felt like I was having lunch at a restaurant. It was so good. Another quick and filling lunch option is this loaded mac and cheese. This is great to make for one or for a big old family, and I'm going to show you how you can make it in under 10 minutes. One of my best tricks for getting pasta on the table quickly is to not waste time waiting for the pot of water to boil. I like to use an electric kettle. That way I can have the water boiling in about a minute. It saves so much time. And then all I have to do is cook the noodles, and it's basically done after that. So I'm going to be using some store-bought vegan mac and cheese. I will put some recipes for homemade versions. I have a healthy version and I have a more decadent version linked in the description box below. But I get this one on Thrive and I really like it. So I'm just going to pour the noodles into the hot water, set a timer for 7 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to bulk up the protein in this dish with some vegan sausage. Now you can definitely do this with last night's leftovers. If you have some vegan chicken or if you have some chickpeas, you can throw in whatever you like. I just like to crisp up the sausage so it has even more flavor. And then in the last minute of cooking, I'm gonna throw some frozen veggies in with the pasta noodles to cook. Today I went for peas, but you could do cauliflower rice, you could do broccoli, you could do a handful of spinach, whatever you like. Then I just add in the cheese sauce, and I do think that over the years they've improved this formula. I think it tastes a lot better than it used 2 years ago, and this was just like the mac and cheese I remember having as a kid, but an adult version that was a lot more hearty and healthy because I added the veggies, and I also like to line my bowl with some spinach. It's a really great way to get in some extra greens and you barely even notice they're there. The sausage makes this really hearty, and ordinarily I would mix the sausage all together, but I wanted you to be able to see it in the photo, so I kind of put it on top, but yeah, normally mix it together. Now don't roll your eyes and click out, because I promise this is not the basic avocado toast that it looks like. This is actually a protein-packed avocado toast, and it's definitely one of my favorites and probably the lunch I make the most often. I'm going to start by mashing up an avocado, and then I'm going to add in some chickpeas. I'm going to mash the chickpeas directly in with the avocado, and this is great if you don't love the texture of beans or chickpeas, or if you have some picky eaters in your family. I'm going to add in lots of flavor with a little bit of rice vinegar. I do a teaspoon of that directly on top, and then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of maple. The maple doesn't make it sweet, it just helps to add some balance and depth of flavor. Then I'm going to add even more flavor with some fresh scallions, salt, and pepper. And the trick to this recipe is really just to mash and mash and mash until it's very smooth. And those of you who like to meal prep are probably already imagining that this is a very meal prep friendly recipe, and you would be right. The vinegar helps to preserve the green color so it won't get too brown on you, and you can make this in a big batch and have really quick lunches throughout the week. When I'm making an open-faced sandwich, I look for the side of the bread that is curled up a little bit. There's always one side that's kind of curved, and I like to make sure that that's the side that I put my toppings on. It just holds everything a lot better and it makes it a lot easier to eat. Then I'm going to add, I kind of change up the toppings from day to day, but I really like microgreens. If you haven't really gotten into microgreens, they're great. They are super nutritious, and they have a really delicate crunch and mild flavor. So it's a nice way to kind of change up lettuce or, anything else that you might be adding, spinach, whatever you add to your sandwich. Try swapping out some microgreens. It's nice. My favorite part of this recipe, and really any dish, is adding pickled red onions. They are so easy to make. I'll put the recipe below, but they add this tangy, sweet and salty crunch that is just so good on everything, but particularly on this recipe. 2 big pieces of this with a generous spread of the avocado mash makes me feel so good having this for lunch, I'm telling you, because it's a perfect blend of complex carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So I really have slow released energy throughout the day. I don't get that blood sugar dip in the middle of the afternoon when I have this for lunch. And if I have a workout planned for later in the afternoon or evening, this is my go-to lunch because it gives me sustained energy. And like I said, it's just good and makes me feel great. I don't know what it is, but around the middle of the week, I start to crave junkier foods. But instead of ordering expensive takeout from a restaurant, I like to utilize my leftovers from the night before to create really delicious, kind of hearty comfort foods that are healthier and way cheaper than if I was ordering lunch to go. I know that it can be kind of hard to wrap your head around grabbing a potato, chopping it up, putting it in the oven in the middle of the day. That seems like kind of a lot of work, but that really is all the work. You're just slicing it, putting it on a tray, and letting the oven do the work for you, and then everything else is just assembling your nachos. So it's really, really quick and easy, and definitely meal prep friendly. So if you wanted to go ahead and make the potatoes ahead of time, or if you want to use potatoes that you made last night for dinner and utilize those, really, really great way to make this even quicker. But for me, it's kind of a welcome break in my workday because I generally spend a lot of time working at the desk, usually from breakfast all the way up until lunch, and sometimes even during lunch. I have lunch at my desk sometimes. So getting up and just getting away from the screen for a few minutes, coming into the kitchen, I will pour myself a glass of water or make myself a cup of coffee, slice the potato, put it in the oven, and then go back to my desk. And I set a timer so I don't forget about it. That's a really good trick because in the middle of the day, there's always a lot of things going on. So so it's not an everyday thing for me. But if I do want something that's really hearty and kind of filling and satisfying, a little bit of slicing up a potato and putting it in the oven, totally worth it in my book. So once the potatoes are ready, I'm just going to do the first layer on a plate. I like to kind of make sure there's lots of surface area so I can get maximum toppings. And then you can use a store-bought chili like I did here, or you can use leftover chili from the night before. I will put one of my easy chili recipes in the description box below. If you're a meal prepper, this is a great way to enjoy what you made without having it the exact same way every time. Then I'm gonna do another layer of potatoes, another layer of warm chili, and then I'm just gonna top this the same way that I would a bowl of chili or nachos. So of course, cheese is important. I love this one from Violife. You could also do a cheesy sauce, a cashew sauce, or even my yogurt cilantro lime sauce is delicious. Now, because I was filming this, it was already getting cold, so I went ahead and I put it in the microwave just to melt it a little more, but I like to top it with a little bit of vegan sour cream or yogurt, lots of scallions or chives or onion. I feel like that just really adds a nice freshness and pop of flavor. And then anytime I have something cooked and kind of soft, I like to also have something that has a raw, delicate crunch and tang to it, like these pickled red onions and radishes. That contrast just really elevates it and makes it so good. Before we get started with my last and maybe one of my favorite lunches of this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the snacks that I love to either pair with my lunches or have in the afternoon time after lunch. I have some salty options, I have some sweet options, I've got nuts and dried fruit as well as some crackers and chocolate and nut butter. I put all of my favorites up on the screen, and I get these on Thrive Market because, as you can see in the pictures, I always save money when I do. You always see that there's a percentage off at the bottom from what it would normally be at the grocery store and what price you're getting on Thrive, and I love that because these are items that I would be buying anyway, so might as well save some money. I actually started shopping on Thrive Market a couple years ago because they had so many great snack options. So if you are looking for some great vegan snacks, definitely click the link in the description box below to become a member because you will definitely save some money and find some great options. This next lunch involves one of my favorite frozen items, and that is some frozen waffles. I love taking a little bit of help from the store here, so I will use some store-bought vegan waffles, or you can just use your own waffles if you want to make your own. But the real recipe here is for my nut and seed spread. This is so delicious. It's something that you can put on waffles or on toast, or even just have it as a dip with apples or any kind of fruit, really. It's great because it really helps to make a sweeter, more decadent lunch feel a little bit more satiating and keeps you full without getting that blood sugar spike. Because for me, if I have a sweet lunch, I tend to be hungry just an hour later, or I have like a really bad blood sugar crash in the middle of the day and I just want to snack on everything. So when I have something that has a good amount of fiber and healthy fats and protein along with my sweet lunch, like this waffle stack that I'm gonna make, it is the perfect combo of decadent, sweet, flavorful, kind of feels like a treat, perfect for a Friday, but it's gonna keep me full and I'm not gonna get that crash midday. So here's how I do that. A really great way to up your omegas as well as your protein and fiber is to sneak in this particular blend of nuts and seeds. I do a tablespoon or so of chia, one of hemp seeds, and I also really like to do sunflower seeds, which, by the way, very, very affordable option. I know nuts and seeds can be a little bit on the pricier side, but sunflower seeds are usually some of the cheapest of the group, and they're really, really delicious. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add that into a bowl along with some almond or peanut butter, mix it together. You can kind of eyeball it. I do a couple of tablespoons and I save whatever leftovers I have in an airtight container in the fridge. Then I'm going to toast my waffle. These waffles are seriously so good. The blueberry flavor really comes through, so highly recommend if you haven't tried them. And then I like to do a thicker layer on the first waffle because I kind of think of this stack as almost like a little cake. So I'll do a thicker layer in the middle so it's kind of like the filling, and then I'll do a little bit on top, or I'll do some vegan yogurt on top, and then whatever toppings I'm feeling like on that day. And here you'll see I drizzled on some maple syrup, but honestly guys, that's just because it looks nice on camera. In real life, the way I like to enjoy pancakes and waffles is to dip them into a little bowl of the maple syrup, because if you don't, they tend to kind of absorb all of the maple syrup and get a little bit drier, and then by the time you get to that side of the pancake stack, it's just like dried out and not as delicious. So if you dip it in, you get a perfect juicy, like crispy maple syrupy bite every single time.
I also love adding raspberries on top because that also kind of acts as a flavor enhancer, as well as, I mean, it's healthy as well, but it just is like a burst of raspberry juice that combines with the maple and is just so flavorful. So it's a great way to make your maple syrup stretch as well.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up because again, that really helps out my channel. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed and hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. If you'd like to check out Thrive Market, make sure you click the link in the description box below, and I hope you have a really wonderful day. Bye guys.